Allah has not abandoned you. You are just in what people call the lonely chapter of life. It is very normal to find yourself in a situation where you feel like you have no one there for you and you are completely alone. And it would leave you asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why would you do this to me? Why would you put me in a position that I can't handle? This would be a false assumption. Usually when you're distracted with a lot of people around you, you tend to lose that sensitivity to hearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Him calling back to you. So in a way, it's actually a ni'mah being alone. Finding that loneliness and solitude is simply just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanting you to turn back to Him. Here you are sitting back wondering why you're being punished. You're not being punished. Shaitan is playing a game with you. He is making you feel like that your Lord has abandoned you, when in actuality, all he wants to do is elevate you in the ranks in this dunya and in the akhirah. It's going to be hard for a time, but once you restore that sensitivity of hearing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything is going to work itself out. And I promise you, you're going to look back at this time period and thank Allah for making you feel like you're alone. Now I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this. Just because you're a Muslim does not mean you're not going to be tested in this life. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the exact opposite. He says in Surah Al-Ankabut verse 2, do you think you're able to say we believe and not be tested? The trial of this dunya is rough. You are going to go through hardship and you are going to go through terrible experiences. The most important thing to do is to remember Allah through it all and not seek validation from anyone else other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What keeps you strong is that foundation, understanding that whatever you are going through right now is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is a greater plan that you don't see. So something may look bad right now, but in the future you know it's going to pay off. You've been led to believe that time is your most expensive asset. That's not true. Attention and where you choose to place it is the most valuable thing on this entire earth. Now work with me here. I want you to envision the life that you want to live in the future. You know, you're working from home, you have a remote business, you're managing people, you're managing money, you're doing something you're very passionate about. Even think about maybe someone you look up to that's already doing these things. A lot of people think these people are just wired differently and they're well-oiled machines. They just got something that most people don't. But in actuality, these people are normal people just like us. They just manage their attention way better. You don't think like Alex Hormozy, for example, doesn't have responsibilities away from his business? You know, he has a wife, he has family, he has friends, he has the gym. It's all about choosing where you place your attention to in the right moments. So when someone like Alex Hormozy is working on his business, he is so deep inside of his work and actually working on his business. His attention is 100% focused on that endeavor in that current moment. But people like us who are trying to strive for more, we constantly fall into the trap of getting distracted, finding these attention creeps inside of our day. Maybe we're working on something and we decide to bend to the needs of other people or to things that are trying to sap our attention. Number one being our phone. Where you choose to place this attention is so valuable that you should be so particular with every single minute of attention that you spend. It's the thing that is going to move the needle for you more than anything. This is your reminder that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is choosing you every single day that you're still breathing. We like to feel like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has abandoned us and He doesn't see our issues just because life is getting tough. If you are still breathing, the test of this dunya is still ongoing. That means there is something there for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have sent the angel of death right now to take your soul and finish your test if there was nothing left to be tested on. But the fact that you are still alive and you're still breathing should be enough evidence that there's something in the future that is waiting for you. In times like this, trusting Allah is truly the only way to see it through. You need to be able to trust, despite not having seen the future, that there is a future that is promised that is better than what you're living right now. And if you're indulging in things that you know are jeopardizing that future, walk away from it for the sake of Allah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you walk away from something for His sake, He will replace it with something better. This is a promise from Allah. This isn't a maybe. And what greater promise is there than the promise of the one who created you and the Most High, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. And may Allah reward you and make it easy for you.
This video comes to you, take it as a sign of Allah for you. Thanks for watching and support my channel.